Okay guys, I don't know why the phone's murky. I was going to say it's because I was on a bad lighting area, but now I've come outside. Yeah, so I came outside, I thought it would be better. I might as well just stand out here and do this. Hard luck to the Hurricanes. I don't know why I wasn't so disappointed. I think it's because I was so wrapped with the Warriors win that when the Hurricanes lost, it was like I was disappointed, but I wasn't like gutted. You know, yeah, but it was disappointing. They lost by 7 points to the Brumbies, so that means that the Hurricanes are out. And remember, I said that the Brumbies and the Chiefs and the Blues and the Hurricanes were going to dominate from 2024 up to 2034, and how last year that was the 4 finalists, and then the Blues won it. Well, this year the 4 semi-finalists are the Brumbies, the Chiefs, the Blues, and the Crusaders. I don't think the Crusaders will make it. I'm going to call it as I see it. I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be another Blues Chiefs final. It'll either be a Blues Chiefs final or it's going to be otherwise, obviously it could happen, but I personally believe it's going to be one of those two who take it out. That's what I believe, because the Crusaders won it for 7 years in a row, and then they went through a developmental phase, and then they didn't win it last year, and then now they're back. And what happened in 2023 was the Chiefs played in the final against the Crusaders, and they won the Crusaders beat the Chiefs. And then the Chiefs made the final 2024 up against the Blues, and the Blues beat the Chiefs. And so now the Chiefs are in the semi-final again. They beat the Brumbies, they'll be in the final. Blues got to go up against the Crusaders, and if the Blues win, it'll be a repeat final as of last year. But yeah, I think that it'll be either the Blues or the Chiefs, because the Blues didn't win it for 20 years. They didn't win it for 20 years until last year. Yeah, it's all part of the process. Love. I went to the bar last night, and people can say, "Oh, it's because you went to a bar," but no. I've seen these people in shopping malls. I've seen these people in the shopping malls. I'm trying to stick recent times. I'm trying to get on with my life, but then they do this stuff, and they do it in a way that looks like it's, how do I put it? It looks like it's not circumstantial, but coincidental to the public. But how come I see them at shopping malls? How come I see them when I go other places, as well as when I go to a bar, right? And it's like lookalikes of my family members, but then there's like lookalikes of people who look like the people from my other side of the family. My mum's side, the Scottish and Irish side, and my dad's Māori Scottish and got some English in there too. But that's just, I'm just saying what I'm trying to say is it's coincidental that, and then they give me the same look and they give me the same vibe as those relatives, and I'm loving the cold on my feet. I've been inside all day because I didn't go to the gym today, because I went to the gym 4 days in a row. So I was feeling a bit stiff, so I thought, why not just stay home? I'm going to go for a drive. I want to go for a walk soon. There's a certain place I want to walk, but might not. I might just stay here. But here's the thing. They'll say, "Oh, it was at a bar. It was because you was at a bar," or yeah, but I saw them at the Bogan Day Out too, and they look like a couple of aunties of mine that said that I was never going to amount to anything, and they'll make sure that I'll never amount to anything. So, like, you might have been talking to them for 5-10 minutes or something, and they say that, and then they downplay your achievements, and then you have another 5-10 minute chat with them elsewhere, and you're sharing your confidence how you're going to do this and do that, and then they'll make sure you don't. But this specific auntie is a pastor of a church, so it's like, because they're a pastor of a church, it's the biggest numbers wise. They got the most. It's the biggest Polynesian church. So out of Polynesian cultures, it's the most. It's got the most members in their church. I don't know if they. I don't know. I hadn't seen them in about. I'm thinking that's why I did that. There's no snot or anything. I didn't see them for about 6 or 7 years, and then I saw them at the family reunion, and they were still a member of the church, and they were bringing up the stuff that I had never said to them or that branch of the family, but they knew, obviously, because of links. And you know what? For Terry Joel, he jumped up on the most recent 2 recordings with a big stick, but it's like, I think that's because that's a reference to how you can't rely upon. This is my way of viewing it, because this gives me the most peace and stuff. Is you can't rely upon anyone to become great, and you just got to go on your way, and then you meet your tribe. Look, I don't really care about when I was in my 20s, if people became more successful to me because they took my ideas, or they spread rumors about me or whatever. It didn't really, it used to tick me off big time, and I used to have arguments with people, and when people brought up what they were saying, I used to tell them the truth, or, my perspective of it, because sometimes the other person had their perspective, and so in their world they were speaking the truth, and which was their perspective. That was their perception of what was going on in certain friend circles and in certain organizations and stuff, like church, work. So you can't, that's just how I view it. Because I remember a couple of times people number of times, but there was about 3 or 4 creators who called me a narcissist, and that's when I was like, I started thinking about it, and then about a year later I started believing that narcissists were just people who went through so much trauma, and that if they hadn't gone through all that trauma, then they wouldn't be who they were today. So, if they had some friends who were loyal, and if they had all their needs met, like if they were brokies, they would have full-time employment and they had loyal friends, or if they were more of the wealthy ones, but they had no loyalty in their friend groups and they always got betrayed and stuff. If they had all their needs met, then all of a sudden their narcissism would go from here, like, let's say there's 10 levels to it, and level 1 is someone who has no self-esteem whatsoever, and your average person is like at level 3, and they're at level 10, then I used to believe that their narcissism will drop down to level 8, and then like 2 or 3 years later worth of this experience in life, all their needs being met relationally and financially and stuff, their narcissism would plummet straight down to level 4. But it's since been proven that, there's some people that because of what they went through, they'll be like this for life, so you can't be anyone's punching bag. And then, there's those who are just spoiled rotten and became that way. With love, what was I going to say? So long as I'm making more than people who used to screw me over in my 20s, like, I don't know what they're doing now because I don't watch them, but I just remember where they were at. They were just like the average person. So it's not me against all average people. It's just I'll shut all those people fully out. Like, I barely ever hear them now because it's right down, because I've been earning the amount of the average person for the better part of a decade. But I'll be fully gone once I'm earning like double the amount. And I'm just tired of fighting people who are doing better than me,